Okay, so how shall I approach this? Where shall I begin? Well, there's actually two ways of solving this, and I'm going to stick with, well, the first way before I even get into the second. The first one is to solve it in the reverse order that I scrambled it, but the only movements that are really open to me, that are truly non-bandaged, are 3x3 movements. So I'm actually going to solve this as a 3x3 bump cube. And the challenge of this is that I have to use pieces that are not exactly connected to the center. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solve it as a 3x3, and it's going to be easier to find the larger layers here. So the first thing to do is to put in the edges. And I'm going to use the terminal edges and the terminal corners. So this is an edge here, and this actually belongs here, or does it? Well, let me see. Let me go across here. No, this is the center here. This doesn't really belong there. This might belong here. It's hard to say. Well, it's hard to say, but what I'll do is I'm first going to put in the edges that I know belong with this side. So move this over to here, move this up. And nope, this isn't quite the right size. So basically I'm doing, oh, there we go, a 3x3 bump cube solve. But a harder one because I have to match it to a center that I don't have immediate access to. This is not correct. I'm assuming this is correct here, but this is not. Let me see if I can't find it. Nope, not here. Must be here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down. 1, 2, bring this across here. This is a very playable puzzle. When you look at those that are entered into as one of my favorites, playability is a big part of it. So I think we're good over here. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. And this, I'm going to say yes as well. So I'm going to find others that might be able to match up with this center here. This edge, rather. How about this? This seems to fit, and this fits with this side. So I think this is good, this is good, this is good. I need to get another edge. It's not going to be this. My last edge is going to be big. Like maybe this guy. I'm just going to line this up. Nope, I can see that that's not right. How about this? This is nice and big. I'll move this in position, and nope, there's a little bit of a cleft down there. So I'm basically looking to see, are these in the same plane? This is in the same plane, this is in the same plane here, and I have to match it to what I think is a center that's in the same plane, although it's a little distal to it, so it's hard to say. How about this? What if I go like this? Turn this up, move this in, turn this down. Okay, good. So I can see this is in the right plane, but this obviously does not belong with this center. Not by a long shot. So what center does it belong into? Well, this is a big one. So which one really comes out? This really makes me wonder about this. This is good over here. It's a center that's kind of pushed in. Huh. Well, I don't think this is the center. I think this is the center, and I think this is probably in the same plane as this, and it's hard to say. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say this is correct. It's going to become more apparent to me if this cross is not right, but I've got my semi-cross over here. So I have the cross here, but I have to make sure that they line up with the centers here. And it's hard to say, but I think this might go with that. There may be a little bit of a cleft here. Let's see. Will this one go better? No, that certainly won't. This one definitely isn't. And this one... oh, right over here. This one I'm going to say... it's hard to say. This might be the easiest to ferret out. Oh, but that's not the center. The center's over here. So it's kind of hard to see. It might be easier for me to put corners in and see what corners fit. Okay. So therein lies one of the first challenges of this puzzle, is seeing how corners are going to fit in with these edges. Okay. Now there's only 8 corners to choose from. I just have to figure out which ones. Okay, I can start off with this. This corner doesn't seem to belong here because it doesn't fit. It might fit with this one. So I'm going to go on a hunch, move this guy down, bring him over here, and see if he doesn't fit better with this edge. And not really, because, well, just not really. Because you can see it's bumped up over here. So I need to have a corner that juts out. So maybe this one? So let's see. So even just as a 3x3 bump cube, it's very challenging. This one looks like it might fit, but not really, because it's jutting out even further than this, so I'm going to say no. Alright, what about this one? And even if I have to go through each corner sequentially, then I will. Not this one. Okay, how about this guy? Aha! Okay, so we have something of a match. This corner goes with this edge. But does it go with this edge over here? It's the right height over here, but I don't know if it's the right size over here. This looks a little longer. So what that tells me is that this might not be the proper edge with this. I'm going to say this one looks a little bit longer than it should. So let's swap it with this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to swap this over here. So I'm going to move this down, bring this here, move this up, bring this here, and move this up like so. Okay? Now, I took this corner out, so I'm going to take this corner, bring it down, and I'm going to bring this back to here. Boom. Okay, so as I look at this, this looks a little bit better, because notice this is flat, and this corner, I think I just got lucky because this corner fits, well, no, it didn't get so lucky. It doesn't feel like it quite belongs. It is a corner that belongs up here, but not over here. But this looks good. So I know that these two edges are next to each other, so that's good, and this corner is between them, and this is the right layer. In the meantime, this is the correct corner, but it doesn't belong next to this. It might belong next to this guy here, so let's move him down. And let's try moving him up here. Boom. Okay. The size differential, it's hard to say, but I think this is okay. This is not okay over here. So I'm going to say that I like this here and I like this here, but I'm wondering if maybe these two corners need to swap. So I'm going to go like this. Edges, rather, need to swap. This will come here. This will come up here. Now I'm using the same side. I'm using the corners to guide me and not the centers on the bottom because it's hard to really see them. Okay, now that I have that, I can try to move my edges in. Okay, this looks good. See this corner here? This lines up nicely here, so I think that's fine, and I think the coordination, I think the positioning of these edges are correct. By the way, this is how I solve the ghost version of these puzzles. Now I'm going to want to put the last corner in, and I don't know which one it is, so this is going to be trial and error. Mostly error with a couple of trials. This will come up here, and boom. Do we like it? Nope. This doesn't fit with this, and it's not even the right height, so forget about it. So we'll try this guy, and I'm just wheeling it in. Look how stable this puzzle is. Nope, it's not this guy either. So maybe this guy? Okay, good. So this looks nice. See how that looks? So this is the first layer of my 3x3 bump cube. Now I don't know which center it goes to, so I'm going to make a best guess based on just eyeballing it. This looks pretty good over here. This looks like, if this is the center, this looks fairly lined up here. Oh, this popped out over here. That's okay. I'm not going to super glue this back in like I usually do. I'm just going to pop it in anytime it falls out, because it's not for me to do that right now. Okay, what seems to line up? This seems to line up here. This seems to line up here. So I'm going to eyeball it and say that these are the centers. Let me just see about this. No, I know that that's not right. This might be right. This is not right. This might be right over here. This is a possibility. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to eyeball that. So now that I've got this side done, I'm now going to put in the middle layer. The middle layer, well, that's going to be a challenge also. So this is my top layer here, all of these, and this is my middle layer over here. Okay, so which edges belong? Well, where's my center here? This is my center. This doesn't seem to belong, but maybe it's just upside down. This one I don't think will ever belong. So what center does this most likely represent where it's supposed to go? This is lined up here nicely, so it's going to line up with this center. Now, does it go this way or does it go this way? Well, if it goes this way, it's going to look like that, and that looks pretty good. If it goes this way, it's going to look like that, and that doesn't look like it lines up quite as much. So I'm going to take this and move them down to here in this middle layer. U R U I R I. I'm just doing 3x3 strategies. U I or F I. I think I messed the algorithm up, but okay, so this is the edge here. This definitely belongs here. And where's the center here? Well, the center, nope, I was wrong. Okay, I might have miscalculated. Well, whatever my thinking was incorrect, and that's because I misjudged where the center is. This is the center layer right over here. It's hard to say because I've got all these other layers. Okay, this edge doesn't belong up here. So let's see what center in the middle layer this belongs. I'm going to say it belongs here. And if I were to bring it down, it would come to here, and it doesn't belong. Okay, this doesn't belong here, so I'm going to move this up, which means it probably belongs here, and let me see. Yes, okay. So this must be the 3-layer edge, so this definitely belongs over here. So now I'm a little bit more likely to get it right. U R U I R I U I F I U and F. Okay, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this to be right over here. However, I don't like where it is with the center anymore. It doesn't look like it belongs there. So my thinking is it actually belongs here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do an adjacent edge swap to cause this to flip to this side here. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. Okay, my purpose in doing that is to get this over here, which I think is where it's supposed to be. Okay, does this belong here? Well, if I move it here and here, I can see this edge never belonged with this center. So that means this edge belongs down in this middle layer somewhere, and this is the middle layer here. Okay, it doesn't belong with this center. Doesn't belong with this center. It must belong with this, and it does. Now, is it going to move down into here? Yes, I think. Yeah, this belongs here. I'm just basically seeing where I have to move this to, or does it belong here? No, doesn't look like it at all. Okay, so now I'm just going to move this down to here with U, well, make sure I'm moving right. U, R, U, I, L, I rather, turn, 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 and down. Okay, in this way I'm not touching this layer, but I'm trying to put this middle layer in. So this center is correct, or this edge is correct rather. I've got one other edge that's correct, and it's this. Okay, now what else? So this is the center. Does this ever belong up here? This one does. This one I don't think does. So I'm going to look for those areas that are not in yet. And this belongs here. And as I move it down, does this belong here? Nope, not quite. But it might belong here, and it does. So this fits nicely into here. So basically I'm trying to take the edges and I'm trying to make this middle layer over here. I have to say, even as a 3x3, this is the most challenging 3x3 bump cube I've ever had. Even if I just solve it as a 3x3, it's still an incredible challenge. Okay, so this is in, this is in, and this is in. That leaves me with one more, and that's this. So what belongs over here? Well, first off, what doesn't belong up here? This belongs up here, and this belongs up here. All of these because they fit flush with this center. Now what about this? This is kind of a weird one. No and no. Yeah, this belongs up there too. How about, so that means this must belong down here, but it's flipped upside down because all of these belong up here. Now just in case, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take this and flip it up to here. U, R, U, I, R, I, U, I, F, I, U, F. Okay, so that should be right back here. And if my theory is correct, this should fit flush with this, and it does. And now if I move it down, it'll be fine. So once you understand a 3x3 solve, you can predict where it's going to go. Now with this move, I should have the middle layer in. So this is layer 1 of my 3x3 bump cube. And by layer 1, I don't mean any of this stuff at all. That's going to be later. I mean only these. And now this here, this is my middle layer. This edge is correct. This edge, you can see that there's a symmetry here. Forget about these center areas here, but these are not bumped. The edges and the corners are not bumped, and these outer edges of the middle layer are not bumped either. So now we just have the last layer, which is over here. First step in any 3x3 is orient your edges. This is oriented right, this is right. These two are obviously wrong. So the way that this gets oriented, I'm going to go F, U, R, whoops, R, U, I, R, I, Fi. Okay, now see what happened? These are now oriented correctly. Now that I've done that, I want to wheel them to the right center, and this is going to be another bit of a challenge because I have to sort of spot it. This looks like it's correct over here. This looks like it's not correct over here, and this is certainly not correct over here. So let's find out where we're quite sure they're supposed to go. Okay, I'm quite sure this is supposed to go over here. This might belong over here, and this doesn't belong over here. I'm going to take a chance and say that this is correct in its placement here, and this is correct. So I put the correct one to the left, I'm sorry, to the right and to the back, and do R, U, R, I, U, R, 2U, R, I, and that SUNY should put these in the proper position. So this appears to be correct, as it's not bumped. This appears to, I don't know, maybe be correct. It's hard to say, it's too far away. This is not bumped, and this is not bumped. And because there's no parity on a 3x3, I know that they're all correct. Now I think I have a little gift over here. Well, no, maybe not. This edge likes this corner likes this edge, but I don't know that it doesn't like this. So this actually belongs over here. So because of that, I'm going to do the algorithm to rotate this around until this ends up over here. I could do that, but I want to make this as little complicated as possible. I'm going to try to orient these first. R, U, R, I, U, R, 2U, R, I. I'm switching tactics just a little bit. R, U, R, I, U, R, 2U, R, I. Okay, what this is going to do is it should make one is oriented correctly, one corner is oriented correctly, and the rest are not. So which one? This has to rotate up, so I'm going to start off over here. This is the only one that's oriented correctly, and if all the rest are not, then I take the one that is facing in front of me that has to orient and do L, I, U, I, L, U, I. Uh-oh. L, 2U, Li. Okay, something horrible happened, and that's because what I thought was a middle layer got dragged along with another layer. So I'm going to get back what I just took out. It shouldn't be too difficult, but I just have to redo some of the things, and that's because of a silly mistake that I made. Anyway, this is now back. I have to redo my middle layer because when I turned this top layer, the middle one got caught, and I didn't know if it was a bandage to this or not. So it was a silly mistake, but there it is. Can I quickly get it back? I really don't know. Let me see if I can maybe find my way home. But I suspect not. See, there's so many layers. If this were any other puzzle, it would be easier. I mean, if it weren't bumped, it would be easier. So what's my middle layer? This is the middle layer, and that's what I messed up. So this is right, and this is right. So these, I think this is right over here. This is still correct over here. Okay, so I just have this one messed up. And that's going to be this guy. And he wants to be over here. Ah, over here. Okay. So let's see if I can easily fix what I just did. R, U, R, I, U, I, U, I. Turn. Turn. I knew I was doomed as soon as I felt that other layer move. Right. Okay. So this is back in. This is back in. This is not. So I must find it. I suspect it's this guy, and he's going to turn here and that. Okay. Okay. A little damage control. UI. LI. U, L, what? Turn, turn, and turn. Okay, so that did my damage control. This is now all back in, and I'm going to try for this again, only let's see if we can't maybe do this a little bit better. Although we have a little problem. Oh yeah, I just have to flip these. So F, U, R, UI, RI, FI. All right, that was a little bit of a diversion, but I got these back. I'm going to focus on these edges. R. Now, okay, let me be very sure of what my middle, this is my middle layer. Okay, so R, U, RI, U, R, 2U, Alright, now I just want to say it was the smoothness of this puzzle that led me to that issue, but look, I got it back. As a matter of fact, these are all rotated up and they're oriented correctly, but these edges are wrong, they're bumped. So because they're bumped, I'm going to say maybe these have to flip-flop. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Okay, this is correct. This is correct. Now I'm going to flip these two, and there's no parity problems. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Okay, that said, this looks perfectly symmetric. This is solved and this is solved. Do I have these facing the correct centers? Now is the time to tell, and I'm going to say a big probably. Yeah, I just need to know if this Yeah, the only question is, it's hard to say. I think this might be bumped here. So I'm going to go like that, and now not so much. And I'm going to go like this. Okay, so this is my 3x3 solid, and I don't think I'm bumped. I think these all line up, these all line up. Is this bumped over here? No, I don't think so. Okay, so that's the first step in an ultimate shapeshifter, is I've got my edges, centers, and corners in.